When I finally stopped doing these 5 things, I lost 45 pounds and 8 inches off my waist. It took me a long time to realize it, but these things were stealing my confidence and ultimately keeping me fat. So before you waste another day feeling stuck, I'm sharing 5 things that help me lose 45 pounds, shrink my waist, and ultimately take back control of my body. If you've been struggling to lose weight or you want to get in the best shape of your life, it's not too late. We have 20 weeks left in this year, which means you could lose 40 pounds if you start to fix these now. If you've been here a while, you've probably seen some of my videos sharing the healthy habits and foods that help me lose 45 pounds. But there are 2 in this video I've never really talked about. And one of them is super sneaky, but it's probably one of the most important things you need to do if you want to lose weight. Real fast, before we get into them, do me a favor, hit the like button. That tells me to make more videos like this and helps other women find our community. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my new weekly videos helping you on your health and fitness journey. And girls, I do giveaways every week for my subscribers. This week, I'm gonna be giving away my 4-week hot body meal plan to help make eating healthy and weight loss so much easier for you. So just subscribe and drop a comment down below to enter. Number 1, this might ruffle a few feathers, and honestly, it is something I struggled with for a really long time and was probably one of the hardest habits to break, and that was snacking all day long. And girls, I am a snacker. Like, I'm a grazer. If I could just graze all day, I would be so happy. And I used to sit at my desk and I'd have my yogurts and my granola bars and my nuts and my pretzels and all my healthy snacks, and I would just sit there and eat them, mostly out of boredom. It just kept me awake and alert during my job. But I realized that that was so detrimental to my waistline. Constant snacking, especially on carbohydrates, keep insulin levels elevated, blocks fat burning, and makes it a lot harder to burn belly fat. It also keeps your digestion working like overtime, which ends up making you just feel really bloated and sluggish. Insulin has to drop for your body to burn the fat, and there have been studies that show that frequent snacking, even on small portions of healthy snacks throughout the day, can actually reduce your body's ability to burn that stored fat. From one snacker to another, this is what I changed how I ate back then to lose weight and how I still eat now. I focus on 3 main meals. I know that sounds so old school, but really it is such a game changer. And 1 to 2 snacks max. That's still pretty generous. We're getting rid of that constant snacking all day long, but the foods you eat for those snacks matter. I front load my protein, so I try to get a lot of protein in early in the day. That's gonna help reduce craving so that snacking isn't just top of mind all the time. I also make sure that when I do have snacks, they are low carbohydrate, high protein, and fiber. That's gonna keep you full again, and your body is gonna utilize those better. It's not gonna give you those big insulin spikes, so you'll actually be able to burn more than store that fat. The last thing I'd recommend when it comes to those carbohydrates, because they are important, we just want to get them out of our snacks, is try to time them around your workouts. So eating carbs like your rices, sweet potatoes, grains, whatever, before and or after your workouts is going to be best. So some easy swaps I made: instead of the sugary yogurts, the pretzels, the granola bars, the trail mix, I swapped those out for things like turkey sticks, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, and things like small portions of healthy nuts for those fats. The second thing I stopped doing is the tiniest little change, but oh my gosh, it is a game changer when it comes to losing excess fat. And that is, I stopped sitting after meals, and honestly, I try to stop sitting during meals. I used to always sit at my desk and eat lunch, even dinner, breakfast, just because I thought I was being so productive. Or as soon as I finished a meal, feeling kind of sluggish and whatever, I would get up on the couch and just veg out, and that is the worst thing you can do. Sitting after a meal causes slower gastric emptying, higher blood sugar, and more fat storage. And I remember I'd always feel just so full and bloated, and that's why we need to be moving after we eat. But it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Studies have shown walking for just 10 minutes right after you eat, whether that's outside or doing laps in your kitchen, can help reduce blood sugar spikes by 22% and improve insulin sensitivity, which means you're not going to store as much fat, especially in the belly and waistline. So now I make it a point to move after every single meal. I actually stand most of the time for lunch and breakfast, which I don't know if that's better or not, but I just don't love sitting all the time. Dinner, I'm always sitting, but after dinner, I try to do at least some yoga movements. I'll walk around the house a little while. During the day, I get out and walk. And even way back when I was losing my 45 pounds, after I ate lunch, I would go walk around my office building a few times just to get some steps in. If you're not already doing this, I guarantee you are going to feel so much better. It's going to help you lose fat, burn burn more calories, and it'll increase your daily steps, which is always a win-win. I mentioned there are 2 things in this video that I've never really talked about that are probably the most impactful that have to change if you are trying to lose weight. And if you're someone who struggles with willpower, discipline, or motivation, you need to stick around for number 5 because this is gonna flip everything for you. But this one right here, I think, is something every single woman deals with. It's actually been shown to be one of the top 3 reasons that people give up on their health and fitness goals and never stay consistent. And I'm gonna tell you how to fix it. So number 3 is I stopped eating and drinking to make other people comfortable. I think for most of my life, I felt like the way to make people happy was saying yes. I am such a people pleaser at heart, and there are good things about that, but there are a lot of bad things. And when it comes to your own health and fitness goals, it was a bad thing. I vividly remember so many times during college and after when I was really trying to make changes and be healthier, but I'd be in a social situation, I'd be out with my friends on the weekend, I would be at home, and all of a sudden feel so much pressure to eat foods that I didn't really want to eat, drink things I didn't want to eat, but like I just felt like I had to say yes. Like I wanted to make other people happy because you just feel like you have no other choice, but you do. That people pleasing kept me stuck in this place of guilt, overindulgence, and inconsistency. And ultimately, it just made it so much harder to ever see results. I know it's hard because I have been there, but this is exactly what I did, and I know it's gonna help you. First, you need to stop apologizing for prioritizing your health. You wanna live longer, you wanna feel good, you wanna have energy. Those are good things. You don't need to apologize. And number 2, you don't need anyone else's approval to make those changes. You need to realize that if someone feels hurt or upset by you saying no thank you to eating something, that is their problem. And that's something they have to work through, but you don't have to own that. Learning to politely say no was something that definitely challenged me and pushed me and was a little uncomfortable the first or second time, but it got easier and easier. And at some point, especially if you're on the same people, they'll probably stop asking you. That really allowed me to have my choice to be more intentional when I did want to indulge or have those things, and I never felt that pressure anymore. So I want you to make a promise to yourself. You're gonna rip the Band-Aid and say no thank you next time. No thank you. Practice it in the mirror first if you have to, and have it ready to go so it just comes out. No thank you. If you watch any of my videos, you know I always talk about how important nutrition is if you're trying to lose weight. You have to be in a healthy caloric deficit. You have to be eating the right types of foods. That's where actual fat loss and weight loss come in. But one thing I realized when it came to my workouts was I needed to stop training without a plan. I started my fitness journey really just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what stuck. One day I'd go running, do a little yoga, I'd do a couple of abs, I would do some squats. I had no clue what I was doing. Obviously it was great. I was getting in the routine of doing something every day, but it was so inconsistent and random. And if you want to see progress, you have to have structure so you have something to measure it against. You need to have a program that you do for at least 8 to 12 weeks to really allow your body to adapt, for your muscles to grow, and to see change and progress happen. The 2 keys to that are a combination of strength training and progressive overload. When I finally started doing a program, and I built that myself, which is what you now have in the Move app, so 3 days of strength with a combination of cardio mixed in there and rest, which is also very important. Sticking to that same programming week after week after week is when I really started noticing the change, and it makes sense. All the studies show that having resistance training with progressive overload actually helps reduce your visceral fat and improves your hip to waist ratio. I know strength training can be intimidating. I know it can be a little overwhelming to know where to start because I was there, but I'm a certified personal trainer. I built the programming in Move. So if you guys need somewhere to start, you want a little guidance, I'll put a link down below for the Move app. You can get 7 days free and you can do the workouts at home. You can totally take them to the gym too, but you'll start to notice such an incredible change if you show up consistently and stick to the program. You have to keep going with the plan to see the progress. All right, girls, buckle up and get out your notepad because out of all the videos I've made, all the tips I've shared, I genuinely believe that if you do not get this one right first, nothing else is going to work. Number 5, I stopped relying on willpower and motivation, and I changed my environment. I used to get so frustrated and feel so defeated because I didn't feel like I had any willpower, and I didn't understand why I didn't have the discipline to stick with my healthy habits for more than a couple of weeks. And I realized that it wasn't so much a lack of discipline, it wasn't so much a lack of willpower, but it was that my environment was working against me every single day. There was a time where I was living with 3 different girls, and one of the girls was the typical, you could eat anything and still be skinny as a rail. One could care less less about health and fitness or any of those things. And the other was a little more like me. We're both trying to get healthier, but didn't really know what we were doing. And it always felt so hard to stay consistent and stick to my healthy goals because there were so many different types of foods and snacks and things in that environment. And even when I would really do my best to only buy healthy groceries, I would buy other things for when we'd have friends over. So I'd get snacks and drinks to have just in case, or to-go menus just in case we needed them. But then I'd find myself eating those and drinking those and ordering the takeout on the middle of the week just because. But we have to proactively set ourselves up for success to avoid those situations so we're totally prepared, and that will help us then create the discipline. I know how frustrating it can be and discouraging it can feel when you just feel like you don't have that willpower or discipline, but you can't rely on that when you're first getting started. So I want to give you a few simple things. I know everyone's situation is going to be different, but these are things that I did that really helped me create an environment that I felt like I could start to learn to be more consistent and disciplined in. First, I stopped buying any of the stuff that didn't align with my goals. And I know that sounds simple, but I'd always have the excuse of like, well, if someone comes over, or I don't know, if I'm PMSing, I might just have a little bit. No, I had to just stop buying it. Not in my freezer, not in my cabinets. I had to get rid of what I had and only have healthier options. Now, when you're in a situation where you share space with anyone who's not eating the same foods, or they want the junk food for dinner, or they want all those snacks, obviously you can't force that on someone else. They're gonna make their own choice. But what I did was I created spaces specifically just for my snacks, for my foods, and I made sure that those were on shelves that were eye level, first place I could see. I bought a lot of groceries like the ones I showed in that last video, high protein, healthy things, because if that's all you have, you're gonna decide if you're actually hungry or not, and if you are, then you're gonna eat that thing. If you have the other options there just in case, like me, you're gonna end up snacking on those and be frustrated and disappointed in yourself. When Ryan and I met, he was not healthy at all, but it was really important to me to talk to him about what I needed. And I know that might not feel comfortable for you to talk to your partner or your roommates about, but it's really important to be able to have that communication and dialogue, because I think if you're able to express why it's important to you, they're gonna be a lot more receptive and it'll be a lot easier, and you're gonna have to just make those choices for yourself sometimes if they don't jump on board with you. The other thing I did was prepared. I prepared things to do when I felt like I was tempted by my roommate's snack. But then I thought of other stuff like going for a walk, doing some crunches, drinking water or tea, something else to distract me until I got through that. And the cool thing is when you're able to avoid those situations and you are prepared, the more times you do that, the easier and easier and easier it gets. It was really just about removing the idea that I had to be perfect and focusing on being prepared and creating an environment as best I could that aligned with my goals and set me up for success. And this statistic blew my mind. So if you don't know where to start here, start here, start here. Studies have shown that people with cluttered kitchens consume up to 44% more calories a day than people with clear kitchens. So if you don't know what else to do, this is what you do. Clear your countertops, clear out your cabinets, keep it clean and minimal, and you have the likelihood to consume almost 50% less calories in a day just by decluttering. Another simple place to start is by pre-planning your meals, doing a simple meal prep. I have so many meal prep videos that help you guys out in like 30 minutes. It's so quick, but that alone also is really creating that environment. If you have your meals planned out, if they're ready to go, you're gonna eat healthier foods and consume less calories and ultimately hit your weight loss goals a lot faster. All right, girls, so those were 5 of the things I stopped doing to lose 45 pounds and help me shrink my waistline. I really hope these help. I know that it can feel hard, but we have to choose our hard. It is hard to wake up every day and look in the mirror and not feel happy. It's hard to not be able to move the way you want to move because you are not healthy or you have too much excess fat on your body. And it's hard to make healthy choices. It's hard to say no thank you. It's hard to change your environment. I get that, but we choose our hard. And I'm going to choose this hard every single time because this one makes me feel better on the inside. This one builds confidence. This one builds security. This one genuinely fixes and helps my health, so I will live longer. I can move better. I'll have more energy and I'll show up better every day. So let me know if this was helpful. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe down below, and drop a comment. Let me know which one of these resonated with you the most. And it means so much to me if you turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of my videos every week. I love you all so much, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.